I'm Ruth Andrus, and this is the Leonard at Logan Bed and Breakfast House, and we are located in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So today I want to make this tortilla egg casserole, and it's going to be filled with veggies and a little bit of sausage. So the joy of this recipe is that you can kind of change it up, and you can add a lot of different vegetables, and whatever it is that you have, maybe left over, or a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So I had a few slices of potatoes that I wanted to use up, and then I did chopped up a whole onion, and then about 2 teaspoons, really large teaspoons of minced garlic. I sauteed that up so it's nice, and so I'm going to add some more vegetables. And it's kind of hit or miss. I'm filling up 12 tortillas, so I kind of do it visually, but I chopped up about half of a summer squash, and I grated up 1 white carrot, and I did about 5 mushrooms chopped up, and I did about half of a bundle of asparagus, and half of a red pepper and half of a yellow pepper. And then I did about 3 tomatoes right here, and I also did about 10 sausages and some zucchini, probably a quarter of a large zucchini. And so what I'm going to do is throw that all in the pot, my pan, and I'm going to simmer them all together. And you need some olive oil, and I'll probably add some salt so they can all blend together. And we will do that just like steaming them together, sweating them till they start turning a little more color. So we will throw a little more olive oil in there. So we're going to do this the night before for the reason that when we fill the tortillas with the vegetables, then we will cover it with an egg mixture that has milk and eggs and cheese. And we will let that sit overnight so the tortillas can kind of absorb that egg. And then in the morning, that's when we'll bake it. We'll throw some more cheese on top, and we'll bake it in the oven. So I've prepared my space with some wax paper, because I don't like to do it just on the straight up counter. And I'm laying out the tortillas while those are cooking so that they'll be easy to fill assembly style. Makes it go faster. So this is about where we want it. Do you see how the vegetables have turned a brighter color? That's when we know that they're ready to be done. Whoops. Try to get it all in the pan. That's always helpful. So I'm putting it into a bowl so I can add some seasonings. I don't think I added any salt, so I think about 3/4 of a teaspoon. That's what it looked like to me. And this is some taco seasoning, which has paprika, salt, garlic, onion, pepper, cumin, oregano, cinnamon, little pepper. Really smells good. So it smells like it needs it for this particular recipe. I just shake a little in there. And then I'm going to add, I don't know, maybe 10 stems of cilantro that I pulled the leaves off of. And maybe about 5 drops of hot sauce. Got to be careful with this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. And then we'll mix that up, and then I will add my cheese. Okay, so I'm going to add my cheese because I'm smelling in it. It smells like it has enough seasoning. So I will measure a cup, although I don't usually measure it. And I'll mix that in and see if that's right. Because I go by look. That's a lot of how I cook. And it looks like I need a little more cheese than 1 cup for all the mixture that you have in there. So we want to make sure the cheese gets in there because that binds it together. So I like to go by smell because then it kind of tells me how it's going to taste. So that's very important to make sure it looks right and it smells right. Ah, yes, this is right. See how the cheese is binding it together. It looks a little bit ooey gooey, and that's where we want it to be. So I'm going to spray my glass dish It's quite a large one. Don't remember the size, but it's larger than a 9 by 13. And we have to spray it so it doesn't stick. And then I use about this size spoon to scoop some filling in. And remember, we're doing this in assembly style because it works much faster. About a heaping spoonful, if you can see that. And then we might go back and put a little bit more, but you don't want to overstuff it either, because if you overstuff it, it all just falls out. And we want enough tortilla available to absorb all of that yummy egg mixture. Yes. So the next thing I'm going to do is roll these up. And usually for a burrito, you want to put one end up and then roll them. I don't do that for these, for the reason why is because I want that egg mixture to kind of be able to saturate both sides. So I'm going to roll that up there and just kind of gently, I'm going to squish them into the pan actually. It won't be very gentle. They'll be squished in there. So that's the easy part. So now they're ready for my egg mixture. I put 8 eggs in here, and I have 2½ cups of milk. It is half and half whole milk, and then I have 1 tablespoon-ish, maybe a tablespoon and a half of some flour, because that kind of helps bind it together. So I need to whisk my eggs up. Now before I add my milk, I want to beat in that flour, so I make sure that it gets well blended. So, oops, flour likes to do that, jump all over. So we'll gently put it in there, and then we can really mix it in. I think that's pretty well absorbed. Now we'll just pour all the milk in there and give that a few more whisks. Nice and full. Make sure the egg and the milk are well blended. There we go. Not too bad. And now we are going to pour this, just pour everything over the whole casserole dish. And it will really cover them, but those tortillas will soak up all of this liquid. And then in the morning, we will cover it with some cheese and bake it in the oven for about 45 minutes. Now it has to sit overnight, so about at least 8 hours in the refrigerator. And we're going to cover it with some foil so it'll be ready. Okay, so we baked it for about 35 minutes with the aluminum foil on, and now I pulled it out and I'm going to sprinkle it generously with a lot of cheddar cheese. Put it back in the oven for about 10-12 minutes until it's beautiful, golden, melted, and ready to consume. It's done! Yay! Gonna slice it up and put it in the dish. Garnish it with a little bit of, I have some chives and cilantro and a little bit of tomatoes, make it look pretty.